had to my ancestors. But it wasn't until several years ago where a lady came up to my mom at an event, again with tears in her eyes, and she said, Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington's examples of courage and heroism means so much to me that I am the person that I am today. I'm the leader that I am today. And if I could thank them in person, which I can't, which apparently the person in the White House doesn't know that you can't thank them in person, but Frederick is an example of someone who has done an amazing job, I hear more and more. In fact, when we sent our manuscript to the printer on January 31st, we were sitting around thinking, a year ago, January 31st, how are we going to get publicity for this project and this book? Right. And then the next morning, I live in California, so I'm 3 hours behind, and the news cycle had already started. And by the time I turned on my phone, it was blowing up. Did you hear what the president said? I can't believe he doesn't know that Frederick Douglass is not still with us. That's how people wanted us to respond, but what we did was, because the spirit of Frederick Douglass lives in all of us, and I've always believed that the spirit of Frederick Douglass has the ability for us to come together and unify and to love each other, we decided to respond by saying, if the president had more time to elaborate, he would have said, Frederick Douglass has done an amazing job, and then we listed 15 bullet points. Teaching himself to read and write over the objections of his overseers, escaping from slavery, and the list goes on and on and on. And we used it as a teaching moment, and we found that his supporters and detractors all came together to say, that is the spirit of Frederick Douglass that lives in all of us. And I'm hopeful. Douglass said, without struggle, there is no progress. And I'm hopeful that after this struggle that we are going through right now, that we will come out on the other side better people who are more loving and caring and understanding of our differences. And I think this is what Frederick Douglass, his spirit, can do. And so I hope that, like each individual that we're giving this book to, in fact, there was a young girl that said to me, Mr. Morris, I researched my family tree, and I found that my great-great-great-great-grandmother, 4 greats, was born into slavery. She taught herself to read and write in secret. She ran away. She became a successful businesswoman and a philanthropist. And the young student said to me, so do you know what that means? Do you know what all of this means? And before I had a chance to respond, she said, it means I have greatness flowing through my veins, just like you do. All of us have greatness flowing through our veins, and history lives in each of us. But the future depends on how we carry that forward. Thank you.